A pleasant good evening to you all. Again, welcome to my channel. How are you today? How are you tonight? How are you this morning? How are you this afternoon? Yes, I have to call them all out because I know that there are some persons who you're experiencing morning now and some who are experiencing night, some afternoon, etc. So anywhere you are in the world, I greet you and I say to you again, welcome to my channel. All right, I appreciate your audience and I give God thanks and praises for you. All right, so then I am meant to encourage others, motivate others, and also there are things that I would share about my life, about my testimony, and I'm sure as I share and go along, you will get to know a little bit more about me. All right, so I am indeed grateful that you're watching this video. It is a very controversial video and it's a topic that some persons don't want to talk about, and if they even talk about it, they're like, I don't believe in angels, they don't really exist, we're the only ones in the universe. And you know, there are people who believe that, and there are some of us who know that there's more to the physical life than meet the eye. Of course, because if we're made of body, soul, and spirit, there are more to the physical life than meet the eye. So that means there is an invisible body that's a part of all of us body. So if there's an invisible body that's a part of all of us body, it means that there are other aspects of life outside of us that are also invisible. We know that angels, they existed long before men were even created. All right, because even in scripture the Lord said, let us make man in our image. Let us make man in our image. And why did God say that? Because he must have been talking to some being, some creation must have been in existence for him to say let us. He did not say I will, he said let us. All right, so a lot of mysteries are in the Bible and in the scriptures, right? Persons believe, some don't. Some say it's just a book of mystical creatures, and all of these things. But of course, when I share my testimony with you tonight about my first encounter with an angel and what I saw, what I remembered, and the age I was, it is quite an interesting conversation to have. Okay, so we know that angels, they are really real. To be honest, whether you believe it or not, they are real, all right? And they exist. And we also know they are spiritual beings. Yes, we know we are spiritual beings. So you ask me the question, all right, since they are spiritual beings, how you see one? Okay, there are so many explanations for that. Persons who see spiritual beings, they are this, they are that. But you know, the naked eyes can't see spiritual beings. My two little natural eyes here so cannot see spiritual beings. It has to be at another level for you to see a spiritual being, right? It has to be that the spiritual being somehow cross over in the form of matter into the realm of the earthly realm and was able to show up itself to you. Although sometimes they will cross over and you don't see them. Few will see them, some won't see them. Some things are not, you cannot explain because, for example now, alright, people will say, well, you have the gift of a third eye. I do not know. I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is what I say and what I saw. Alright? And it was something else. It was something else. And so tonight, I am so grateful to God for you. And again, I must say, welcome to my channel. Please enjoy this testimony. And I want to encourage you to post your comments below. Yes, I want to hear what you have to say. And please share it on your social media pages, your Instagram, your Twitter, your Bitten, all over. Yes, share it on your social media page and share it all over Facebook, wherever you are, in your WhatsApp groups. Go ahead and share it. Again, I know you know my name. I am Shalise Golden. I'm the author of Crisis, A First Lady's Journey, Deborah's Intriguing Story. Right? And of course, I must use this opportunity to say that I am working assiduously to get my next book out there. Right? It is going to be a child's story. Right? So I'm working hard to get that out there, which you should see shortly from now. All right? I trust God in the process. All right? So I am otherwise known as Deborah. And yes, my page is right there on Facebook entitled Crisis, A First Lady's Journey, Deborah's Intriguing Story. You can also find my book on Amazon. You can grab your ebook version or your copy. And, yes. So that's basically it. I am grateful to God because today I have life. And while there's life, there is indeed hope. All right, so don't feel hopeless. I know sometimes the better of us feel a bit down. Sometimes as individuals we feel sad and we feel down and we wonder, I feel so down. Life is just not going the way I want it. Sometimes it's not going the way we want it to go. But trust God in the process. Trust Him in the process. I have many reasons to give up. But when I look at the blessings of the Lord in my life, I have many more reasons to hold on to God. All right, so let's go in my testimony and do enjoy. Okay, so seeing a spirit or an angel that is referred to as a spirit being, it's not a light matter. It is really a very interesting thing to experience. Even if you saw it once in your lifetime, it is really very. It's really something you wonder about, and people at times, like I said before, they may not know what to think or what to believe. But your experience is usually sacred to you because you are the one who had that experience. And of course, you have heard of angels appearing in the form of a body that they can be seen with the naked eyes. So if you are able to see any form of spirit being with your naked eyes, whether they are ghosts, whether they are dead wandering souls, whether they are angels or demons, if you are able to see any of those, that's really not normal. Yeah, and it's not that something is wrong with you either. Nothing is wrong with me. I'm just saying, it's not that something is wrong with you, but it's really special to be able to see stuff like those. And so the first time I saw one, I was 8 years old. All right, and mommy and daddy, they went out. They went for a walk, and of course my little brother Ted, he wasn't born as yet, but my two big brothers, that's Daly and Marvin. My mother left, daddy left first, and then mommy said she's going somewhere up the road, right? Or I think they went together somewhere, but they both left the house. And I remember that whenever they're leaving the house, they would say to the two bigger ones, take care of the younger ones, right? So the two bigger ones were my two big brothers. I am, of course, the third child at the time, and I have a brother that follows me. So he would be the fourth child at the time. After my brother Ted is born, I became the middle child. Anyway, so at the time I was the third child and the older girl, all the same to my mom. All right, and so she went out, daddy went out, and the four of us were left at home. My two big brothers, they have this very weird style, and I don't know, I think it's a thing with big brothers, some big brothers and some big sisters. When the parent go, they take a walk too. And so my big brothers, one went first and the other followed. And I don't know if they went to separate place or they met up, but they gone out or were going to walk. So they went to walk, all right? And then my smaller brother, he said, I'm staying with you, you're my sister. I was older than him. So we were there. And we were there and we had a little ball. It was like a little box ball. You know those days when you make those are the box ball and you stuff it up. So we were outside playing. And it was a very beautiful night. The stars were beautiful, and the moon was a full moon night that night. and we were there playing. And as I talk about this, I talk about it as if I saw it yesterday. It's as if I just saw it. It is still fresh in my mind. It's a memory that I would never ever forget that experience. All right. And so while we were there playing, the ball fell. So I bent down to pick up the ball because it didn't actually fall. It's like my brother threw it to me. It's like we were playing ball. We were throwing the ball across. It wasn't like football because I was throwing it to him. We were supposed to catch and we were not supposed to let the ball drop. So when he threw it to me, the ball dropped. So I bent down to pick up the ball. When I picked up the ball and as I was coming up, I saw a thing in a distance coming. But when I saw it in a distance, I noticed that it had the body of a human, and there were two wings to the side. And it's like what drew my attention to the being was this huge ball. There was this huge big round ball that was covered with the fabric was that like sequins, sequins fabric. Those of you who sew, or those of you who know about clothing and know about fabric, the sequins fabric, what it looks like. So it was more of a golden color sequins fabric looking ball, but I wouldn't know if the ball is fabric or what, but I'm just describing the exterior of the ball that the creature held in its hand. And it's like the hand, one of the hands were extended. I'm not sure where the other hand was, but one of the hands was extended and there were two wings folded to the side. I wasn't sure what I was seeing, so I remember I turned to my brother and I said, Sean, because Sean is expecting him. I said, look there. And we stood there and we were looking at it, and while we were looking at it, we were saying, but that looked like a human being with two wings at the side. So we were just there looking. And I said to my brother, we have to set to run, let us see if it's going to come down to us, because when I saw it, it was so much higher, but it was at a distance. It was big enough for me to be able to see it based on the distance it was at. And then we noticed that it was coming lower. So oh my God, we noticed that it was coming lower, and while it was coming lower, we noticed that it's like it's coming down to us. So I was like, I said to my brother, I said, Sean, but see like there's something coming down to us. So we make a dash in the house. We dashed in the house. And ever since I know myself, my mother always have grill on the house. So we locked the grill fast and we went through the door. And I don't know if you remember those sort of door as kids that the key never had to be removed from the door. You could close the door, the key remained, you just turn the key. So and sometimes you could have two keys. You could have a key on the outside and a key on the inside. It was that sort of door. And so Mommy didn't remove that key all the time. Most times that key was in that door. So when we went in, we didn't have to search for a key. We just go and turn the key. All right? And we switch off the light the night. We switch off the light. Because in our minds, there were so many huge windows in that house, glass windows, that we think that maybe the thing going to come out the window and look at us. So we don't think it can see us in the dark. So we switch off the light. Before I go to what happened after we switch off the light, prior to the fact that we ran inside, let me describe what we saw. It was that of a human body. It had a head, like I have a head. I couldn't tell if it have two ears, but I know it have eyes and nose and mouth. And it had hands like human. I knew it had two hands. Although one of the hands held the ball. And it had feet, just like a human. But the difference with what we saw, on somewhere in the back of it, there was a huge wing, but the wing didn't just stay up at the back. It was folded to the side, so you could partially see. While it came towards us, you could partially see like part of the body was enclosed with the wing, and at sometimes you could see the exposure of the body itself. But it wore something like a garment, it's like a white garment. It's something like a white garment. All right, so it wore a garment. It wasn't a pants. It was more of just like a garment, like a gown, like something like that. Yes, and very very silky, like very full of a lot of sheen and so on. So anyways, we noticed it, and it had a face. It had a face like a normal human face like how normal humans look, and but the wings. You know, when bird coming towards you, bird would go like this and flap and fly. No, it wasn't like that. The two wings were neatly tucked to the side, and it was just sailing, coming to us and coming down to us. So when we ran in now, I remembered I said to someone the other day that as a child, I didn't know fear. I was never fearful as a child. If my mother out the lamp, say we don't have any light at home that day, and mommy out the lamp, I had to go for something around the back of the kitchen, and no matter how dark the house is, I could go for it, and I wasn't afraid of the dark. That's the type of person that I was growing up. And so I said to my brother, we were inside and we were whispering. We started to whisper, okay, we don't know, we lock up the light and we are whispering because we are saying, we don't know if they can come on the window, come peep, and whatever door the windows are grilled. But anyway, I put a chair at the window and I climbed up, and I remember my brother was, he was dragging my dress and, like tugging at my dress and saying, come down, pose him, see, put your drop over the chair. Anyway, I went on the chair and I climbed up on the chair, and I kind of used my finger, kind of move the curtain, a little bit away to just kind of peek through to see where would this thing have gone, because it was coming down to us. And when I looked, I saw the creature. I saw it. I saw most of it more than my brother because of the fact that I climbed up and looked through the window. I saw this thing with this eyes. The eyes were like, it's like I was looking through an ocean. It's like the eyes were like it's like you're looking through the horizon of an ocean, and it just looked normal, but this time when I looked at it, the wings were not folded anymore. They protruded over the body of the creature, and they just spread out. Part of it you could see along the veranda, because the veranda in Portmore, Newlands is really, really, really wide veranda. So you could see the protruding of the creature, and the both ends protruded, wings protruded, and it was just this array, this look that I can't even describe. But when I looked, it's like, when I peeked and I looked, it's like I became frightened at one point, because it's like it was searching. The eyes of it was like looking, searching, and it was just there looking. And I noticed that at one point it stopped, and like it was looking straight at me, but I wasn't sure if it was looking at me, but it felt as if it was looking at me. But I took my time and I came down and I took a deep breath. My brother said to me, wait there. But by the time I was looking, I saw when it made a speed off, and it went up. And I came down and I said to my brother, it went up. And my brother said, and I said to my brother, let us go out and see what happened. I want to know where it went. Here my brother to me, suppose it out there waiting us. Suppose it's going to grab us. So I said to my brother, Sean, I don't know if it will grab me, but I am going out there. I want to see where it goes. And if we see it, we're running back. Oh my God. So I was that bold. I was that bold as a child. I was that bold. And so we took our time and we turned the key in the lock, and we tippy-toe and we went back outside. And when we went back outside, we didn't see it, and we were, kids, we were, taking our little time, walking very gingerly, very daintily, because we see this thing, we are seeing this thing. We don't know, we have never seen things like those in our normal lives. I thought when I saw it, I said to I showed my brother, and my brother was able to see it. We were both able to see it. And so when I went back outside, we eventually tippy-toe and went back out. But we went back outside, and I kind of came out of the house, and I was just peeping around, looking around. when you feel a bit of you're a bit cautious, not afraid but more cautious, and I was just there looking around, and I remembered when I looked, my brother said, look like it gone. And I said, why? Where it go? So anyway, we were out there. You saw children stay? You see our children stay? We were out there, and when I looked over the house, that I grew up in. When I looked over the house that I grew up in, I could see an opening over the house. But the opening was not touching the house, but it was somewhere in midair over the house. Remember that time we were short, we were kids, we were little. We were not tall at that time, we were little kids, all right? Because I was 8, and as I said before, my brother he is younger than me, all right? And when I looked, there was an opening in the sky, like a what you call it? It's like a portal. It was an opening, yeah. And around the opening were some body of clouds. There was some body of clouds, and around the body of clouds were these beautiful stars. I've never seen stars in those colors before. They were something that I couldn't really explain. It was like a sort of a glory that I could not explain. But when I looked, the stars were just dancing around the cloud. But it's like the star and the cloud, they were mixed, and they were dancing around the opening. They were dancing around the opening, and we were there, and we were saying, "Wow!" And we were like this, and we were like, "I'm touching my brother," and I was like, "Look there!" And we were seeing it. We saw it with our 2 natural eyes. We were not in a dream. We were not dreaming. It was not a dream. We didn't eat late. It was in the late evening, probably about after 7 or 6 thereabout. You know, it was not very late, like 10 o'clock, no, because our parents came home long before that. And so we were there looking at it, and it continued. The dance of the stars and the clouds mixed like a body. That's some sort of weird glory. It continued to dance, and until it danced, and then the opening became smaller. Gradually, it became smaller, and then when it came into one, it vanished. We didn't see anything. So we are saying that we think that creature went through that portal or that opening. No, I just want to say that, you know, when I did my CXC, that was my story. It was my story. When I did my CXC, and I wrote a story in CXC, that was my story. I shared it as a story, and I don't know, I did very well in English language, but I knew my story was remarkable. And that was what I shared. But I'm talking to you about it. It's not a dream. It's not a dream. It is something that I saw in real life. Real life. I was not sleeping. And, you know, you have to understand that sometimes you don't understand some things. Sometimes you don't understand some things. And it's sort of weird at times when you don't understand some things. But that was my first experience. Literally seen an angel. I had reason to believe I saw another one in high school, but I don't know. It's like this man walked up to me. I can't tell you if he was or not, but I had this strange sensation that he was, because I was coming from the prayer room one day while I was at Austin Martin Technical, and this man walked up to me. But the man, he dressed like a madman. But while he dressed like a madman, he had the kindest of eyes, and he had this accent like that of an Englishman accent. And he walked up to me and he said to me, "Can you tell me the direction to the prayer room?" And I remember I said to him, "You can walk straight down this road." And, you know, I gave him the direction. And he said, and he thanked me. He said, I thank you. I thank you. Remarkable. That is awesome. And I remember he looked at me and he said, you're blessed. And I said, well, thank you. But if you look at him physically, you wouldn't talk to him because he looked like a madman. But when I spoke to him, that was no madman. That man was no madman. I don't know what that man was. But anyway, by the time, in a split second, when I turned my back to walk away from the man, to tell the man and describe the prayer room, when I turned around, I don't know where the man turned. I walked down Young Street, asking people if they see an old man describing the man. I don't know where the man turned. I don't know who this man was, but I think that probably it's possible it was an angel in appearance, because, you know, the reality is that they can take on bodies. They are spirit beings, but they can take on a matter look and look like a person. They may appear with wings, and they may not appear with wings. They may appear just as looking as a normal human being. It happens. It happens. I mean, when the angel came to Mary wasn't in a dream. She wasn't in a dream. When the angel talked to Elizabeth, and when the word came to Elizabeth's husband, it wasn't a dream. He served in the temple. He was a priest. He served in the temple. And it was not a dream. It was something that he saw live and direct. And what I'm saying is that persons may listen to this video and they may say, well, you saw that and I don't believe her. That's not possible. You know, my cousin died at a very tender age. I was very close to her. And I remember the night when she was buried, I went to my bed. When I went to my bed, I fell asleep and I felt someone waking me up. When I woke up, I saw my dead cousin. When I saw her, I said, what are you doing here? You don't know, so you're dead. You're dead. And she said, I died. I said, yes, you're dead and they have your funeral today. So what you doing here? Remember, I was a child at that time. She was a bit younger than me and an individual, and she cried and she went through the wall. And I didn't see her. I didn't dream about her, nothing. That was not a dream. I'm not saying I'm a weird creature. I'm not saying I'm sort of a weird individual, but I'm just saying that there are persons in life who do see things. That's it. They see things. Nature, time, the explanation of things sometimes cannot really explain why them see it or them see it. They come up with all kind of conclusion as to why not, and why is so. And all of these so, and why have a long tail and double curve around and go up and down. And you know, people have all kind of explanation. We have all kind of explanation. We have theologians with explanations. We have scientists with their beautiful, explanations. And we have all these things happening. But some things in life you really cannot fully explain or express why there are persons who see things. I remembered when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was so sick. I was so sick with my daughter. And I remember one night I went to my bed, and I was not awake this time. This was a dream. And in my dream, I saw my pastor at that time, and he said to me, you are guarded. And I said, I'm guarded? He said, yes. I said, guarded by what else in the guard around here? And he said, your angels, a lot of them are around you. And I said to him, they're around me? And he's like, I kept repeating what he said. And then he said to me, there's one over you. He's looking right at you. He said, look. And I said, but I cannot see them. He says, look. I said, I cannot see them. And he said to me the third time, he said, you have the eyes to see them. You are gifted to see them. And he said to me, look again. And the third time you look, you will see at least one of them. And when I looked, I could see this being, this most glorious being over me. It was like a light being. It wasn't a color white, it was a light, blazing light, but you could see the structure of that like a human feature, head and everything, eyes like fire. And when I looked, it was looking at me head to head. It's like it's lined up with me shoulder to shoulder. It was over me looking at me, because I lie down flat on my back with my hand over on my tummy. That's how I slept right during my pregnancy. I lie on my back with my hand on my tummy. And just like while I lay down with my hands on my tummy, you could see the being line up over me. And in the dream, I reach up to touch it. You saw me brave? Lord have mercy on me. You all gotta pray for me out there, you gotta pray for me. Pray for me. Yep, just pray for me. I need your prayers. I do need your prayers. But in the vision, I attempt to touch the bean, and it just vanished. And I said, come back, where you going? Because I wanted to touch it. I don't know if it's my danger to touch it. I aligned where I sit, and it looked very pretty, light, and I decided I'm going to touch it. But it vanished. And I got up out of the dream, and I was like, and I got up and I said, where did you go? Where are you? But I know that, your guardian angels, they're always around you, but it's not, people see them. People will see their guardian angels sometimes in their dreams. And it's time that person stop thinking that, okay, they're not real. They are real. They exist. We're not the only ones in the universe, okay? And they do exist. So I remember one time in my life, I was going through a lot of stuff. And this is the last thing I'm going to say this evening. I was going through a lot of stuff. It was a painful period for me. It's like I was crying a lot, and it was a very painful period. And that was probably like 10, 15 years ago or so. And I was just going through a lot of stuff, and I was just overwhelmed. I remember one night, I went to my bed, and I saw, it's like I was going over a bridge. And while I was going over the bridge was so dark. It was so dark, I could not see my way in the vision. It was so dark. But then when I looked, I saw these Epa lights, little orbs, little lights. They were so tiny. And they were just, I couldn't count how much of them I saw. I could not count them. They were not countable. Not even the son of the shore could have count them. I couldn't count them. But as they come together, they became one. They team up as one until they become like a floodlight. You ever hear the saying that says, open the floodgates of heaven, let it rain? Yes, open the floodgates of heaven. When you talk about a floodlight, it's a very powerful light. And when you talk about floodlight of heaven, it can't compare to the floodlight here on earth. And so when it became one, I saw this huge, massive, glorious light. And it shone so bright that the light itself took me across the bridge and says, you are safe now. And it says to me, the light was talking to me, you know. It wasn't in a human form. It was just a bunch of this big light. And I remember the voice of the light says, go, your way is lit, so go. I'm sharing these things because there are things that have happened and they are real, and there are things that I've seen in my vision, in my dreams. And the first one I shared was not a dream. It was live and direct. The one about my cousin that died, it was not a dream. It was live and direct. And there are so much more. I think in my other video, I'm going to share my experience with hell. I had an experience where I went to a section of hell. And I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to share that with you in my next video. So there are two experiences I had. I had an experience of heaven, but that experience was very short. It was pretty short. It was not a lot. But the one with hell, there were so many things that I saw. And I've never read the book that says, there's this book I heard about that these individuals talk about hell and all of these. I've never read that book. I've heard of that book. I've never read it. But based on what I have been through, I noticed persons who had that experience, they are saying similar things to what I experienced. So in this world, remember that there are so many things around, so many strange, things around. Some of us believe, some don't believe, and it's okay. But you can't tell somebody about what they have experienced. You can't live my testimony for me. I can't live your testimony for you. I can only listen to you and say, wow, really? Yeah. And then sometimes I look at my life and I say, God, I've been through so much. I've been through so much struggles. I've been through so much, things. But, I am grateful. I'm grateful because there is something about my life that God He's happy about. There's something about my life that He's happy about. I was talking to God today and I was saying, Lord, for the rest of the year, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to, I don't want to offend anyone. I just want to be nice to everyone. I just want to be forgiving towards everyone. And I don't want to say anything that's going to hurt anyone, because sometimes you say things and it really hurts others. And sometimes it's just a human part, but we can't continue to find excuses because some of us, we just don't know how to mince words. And that's an art that the politicians have learned and other persons have learned. And that's an art that some of us we're still trying to get used to. Mincing words. All right. So my subscribers, I thank you for tuning in. I hope you can share my video. Please share all over. Yes, because others need to hear my testimony, my experience. And by the way, angels are biblical. Yeah, angels are biblical. They are biblical. They have appeared, though they are spirit beings, they have appeared to persons in scriptures. They have appeared to persons all different ways and so on. I remember before the Lord started to minister to me through me with the Issachar's anointing. I remember I was there, it was a vision. And when I look, one side of the sky became like a fireplace. and I could see coals of fire in it, and I was like, why is that fireplace on that side of the sky? I was looking at it. This one was a dream, and I saw this massive angel. Yeah, I don't know his name, but he was massive. But I noticed that there were other angels, but they did not came near to me. But that one came near, and in the vision, he went on the coal and he took up one of the coal fires and he rested on my lip. And when he rested on my lip, I was saying in my mind, it's like he was talking to me, but I couldn't say words when I saw them. It's like they were talking to me through my mind. I could not say words. And when he rested on my lip, I was saying, why is it's not burning me? That's fire. He's resting on my lip. Why are you resting fire on my lip? And I remember when he rested on my lip, he said one thing. He said, your sins are forgiven. And I woke up out of the dream and I said, why would I see this massive angel putting a coal of fire on my lip? And it didn't even burn me. And I was like, I went in the mirror and I was looking and I was saying, my God, it felt so real, but I could not feel. You know when fire burn you? I did not feel that way, but it was a live coal with fire. And as I got up, I hear the Holy Spirit says, go to the scriptures that talk about the live coal. And I started to, and I said, oh, but that was Isaiah. And I began to read it and I began to understand how that would relate to me and why I would see such a vision. So there are persons in the earth that, I don't want you to see me as a weirdo. Please don't. No, I'm not a weirdo. I'm not a weirdo. My mother prayed for a daughter when I was born. She prayed, she cried, and God gave her one daughter. Okay, so please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. I enjoy your company. Ta-ta!